Today guys, I've just picked the keys up to this 300 plus brake horsepower Focus ST. Really want to see what this is like with the supporting mods on a standard turbo and standard internals. Should be a good ride, but if you didn't know, FYD Apparel has just had their latest release, these military green heather tall tees that you've seen in this video. If you do want one, fydapparel.com. Let's get on with the video. So the talking point behind this review, what do I really want to know from this car? Now, modification wise, this is a very good base, power wise and modified wise. You know, it isn't silly money, it isn't silly brake horsepower, so it's very achievable for a lot of people. So 225 brake horsepower when they come out of the factory. This one is running, you know, just over 300. We're gonna say ballpark 315 with the modifications that have been done, but it is yet to meet a rolling road for an exact number. So this consists of the standard turbocharger with a standard internals in the engine. First thing I really want to get into is that block mod. If you want to take these cars up and beyond their 225 brake horsepower, unfortunately they're well known for letting go, you know, if they run any more power than they do from standard. So the block mod, which is literally putting metal shims in between the pistons to make it one block basically, so it's got no gaps in it. That's probably one of the first things if you are actually looking to buy a modified ST of this era, you know, 2006 Mark II say. That's probably one of the first things I personally would look for if I was to buy one. The second thing I'd want to look for is maybe an upgraded clutch. This actually has the RS clutch in it, which is just, it's still got the factory feel, but it's very capable of holding that power increase. Now that coupled with a couple of other upgrades, you've got an exhaust system that comprises of a decat, a Miltech front section, a cutout center section, but then this has a standard back box, which may confuse a couple of people, but there's very good reasoning behind it. Basically, the owner Neil really wanted to keep the refinement of this car. He didn't want to silly drop it, he didn't want to go silly power, he didn't want to go silly sounds either. So the standard back box is still there to retain some resonation in the exhaust system, which I can completely understand. If you're using one of these as a daily driver and you have, say, a section 18 on it, you know the exact feeling of the drone and the sounds that come out the back of these, which is great. It's all about the sounds and pops and bangs, but if you've got kids in the back, you want to go take them to school, you want to do, you know, your shopping and stuff, it's actually quite nice to have that resonation, say, from the back box, but then still have third gear pull, the pops, bang, explosions, all the finesse of a 5-pot, but it still has that quiet sort of understated sound. It feels and sounds like a completely standard car. The way I look at this car is as if it came out of the factory with more power. So say you bought an edition that was a 2006 ST3 300 brake horsepower version, basically. This is the way I look at this, because the modifications that have been made are to improve, make this car easier to live with while increasing the brake horsepower. So you have the metal inlet plenum from Auto Specialist, taking out the rather horrendous plastic inlet plenum that these have. Throwing more power through this as well, obviously you need a better cooling system, so this does have an intercooler sat on the front from AirTech. Supporting mods to support that increase in power is one of those things I really like about this car. You still have a slightly lowered suspension, say you would get from, you know, a special edition, more brake horsepower factory car. You still have the pops and bangs, like I just showed you right there. You still have the refinement and the comfort. Jumping from the 225 to say it has, you know, 90 brake horsepower more, you've really taken this car to another level. because I do feel from factory they should have had a little bit more power. This one is set up just so. Like from the factory, it should have been this way. That's the way I see it. So guys, although it's a little bit windy up here, let's take a quick look round this Ford Focus ST3. Now I've just literally turned it off, so the fans are still going from my cheeky little B-road bashing. But let's have a quick look around this thing. You have up front the Zen Sport grille just going in there with the AirTech intercooler just behind there with AirTech sprayed into it. You have a lot of graphics on this thing. You have a complete bonnet wrap coming up onto a roof wrap as well, all in black. You have these RS carbon fibre vents that have just been put in with red accents going around. Red accents around the front grille as well, headlights and around the fog lights. Gives it a little bit of contrast from the other STs that you will see on the road. Coming down you have carbon fibre canards just down there. You have the original ST wheels, brakes, 30mm drop on this, so a nice little drop, nothing too crazy, but nice enough to give it a little bit more stance than a standard one. Coming down the side you have this red pinstripe going right down past the door. Around the back though we do have an RS spoiler at the top in gloss black. We have a Maxton Designs diffuser which comes out a little bit further than an RS one would. If you were to put the RS diffuser on this, it would be a little bit more in, but the Maxton Design ones come a little bit further out. You have this additional diffuser just at the bottom there with the little struts just there. Really cool sort of aftermarket look to that. This exhaust system though, it has 4-inch tips but a standard back box, Miltech front, decat, a silencer cut in the middle, so nice pops and bangs and enough sound coming out of that, but still resonating quite well. Coming inside the car we have the ST3 standard interior pretty much. It has an upgraded screen just in the center there, blue neons down there, shout out blue neons, a couple of red accents on the gel badges. This is the selling point for me though, these seats. You have to buy the ST3. These seats are the selling point. Getting an ST3 means that you get the full leather Recaro interior, which is the biggest selling point in my opinion, and something that if I was personally trying to buy one of these, I would definitely try and get. And obviously a Dime Cross air freshener just there, check that out. The thing I have to point out is though, I love the idea that this car is like the best version of itself. It isn't, you know, ridiculous power, it isn't breaking any land speed records, it isn't, you know, Larry in your face, it's just practical, it's very nice and well maintained, and it looks really cool. It isn't overdone, it isn't oversaturated, and I think that's the biggest selling point for me. Another controversial thing about this car that I am going to point out is has a dump valve. A lot of people may not like that, and I understand, but makes whooshy noises. I'm happy with that. So the drivability is cracked in this. It has a little bit more brake horsepower from standard, makes the proper pops and bangs, but still retains some real refinement in this car. This being an ST3 as well, I will have to point out, Recaro interior, if you are looking for one, ST3 full leather heated seats, has to be done. Do not compromise for a lower spec one. You have to go for the ST3. Has come down dramatically, I think. You know, you can pick a, you know, pretty crap one up these days for next to no money. Mods are very easy to obtain. You have a huge network of enthusiasts, especially in, you know, this era Mark II Focus, that have everything under the sun that you could ever want. And even if you're buying second-hand stuff, you can modify one of these pretty cheaply. So this car really caters for everyone with any budget, I think, because you can get into one of these relatively cheap, The insurance, you know, dependent on where you are. Yeah, I'd love to go into insurance on one of these, but it's all down to age, where you are, how many people you've ran over on your scooter and all that business. It's great to talk about insurance, and I would always say fight for a good insurance quote, but it's hard to get good insurance quotes. If you live in the centre of London and Focuses are the main car that is stolen on your road, you're going to be paying more for the insurance. That's just sort of how it is. Running costs, this one at 300 brake horsepower, 6 speed, so you can casually put it in 6. It's getting 25 mpg, which isn't too bad. I just think subtle mods are here for this one. It's subtly done, it's subtly refined in every way. Good sound system, clutch is lovely, makes good whooshy noises. If you need whooshy noises, best day ever. It's capable, it's fun, it's chuckable. With, you know, the 30mm drop this car has, it's still very compliant with this chassis. You haven't slammed it at all, you haven't changed the geometry of the suspension. It's still on standard wheels, you know, brand new tyres on the front of it as well, because you need brand new tyres on these a lot, let's just say. Torque steer at this sort of power isn't really announcing itself, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't say these are massively unreliable at all, because that's not really what I'm saying. You just always want to make sure you're getting in a good one that's been cared for, one that's been looked after, and that's this one right here. So yeah, what's been created here in the summary of this video, to say if you bought an ST version of, you know, an MR375, this would be it. Yes, it's not mount tuned, don't get me wrong, but the same sort of logic is there, where it's keeping it simple, getting the bits that you need to get done, so it doesn't, you know, catapult you into the atmosphere when something does go wrong. Still keeping that refinement, rigidity. Yeah, this is a bloody good car. I like this one. Simple but effective, and that's exactly what you want. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. If you did like this video, please give me a like, subscribe if you haven't for more car reviews, and we'll see you all on the next video. Cheers guys.